Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sandra from Sandra's Stamp and Craft Studio. Today is my third week doing my YouTube lives. I started at the beginning of the year, and hopefully I've got some comments to come through shortly, so I'll be able to know that I'm in the right place, just because I'm still not really trusting it much at the moment. And last week there was a little bit of a lag at the beginning. So this week I tried just letting that screen at the front just sit there for a little bit longer. So I'm going to take you down onto the table at the moment and I'm going to share what I'm going to use tonight. Okay, so let's get you down and across. There we go. So on Sunday night I created on my Facebook Live on Sundays, every Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening, UK time, and I was using the Let's Sail stamp set, Let's Set Sail, and Sailboat stamp set, punch here to go with it. So I was hoping to do 2 cards, but time sort of kind of ran away with me a little bit. But I wanted to use the Gentle Waves because these two just go so perfectly together. And I wanted to just point out this comes as a bundle, and you get the 10% off discount for buying the 2 together as a bundle. But if you buy both of those and you add on the Gentle Waves, you've got the Let's Set Sail stamp set and the Gentle Waves, and then that comes to exactly $45.50, and you can choose something for free out of here. There's some gorgeous things in the celebration, and it's running till the end of February. So if you do like this bundle, I'd suggest that you pair it with the Gentle Waves because they do go well together, and I'm going to be using this stamp as well tonight. Hi Shaz, nice to see you. So I'm live in YouTube. Just confirm, is there any lag at all, or can you see me talking the same as my mouth is moving? Because there was a little bit of a lag last week, I noticed. There's a strange lead in. Just leave me a little comment on there so I know that you're fine. So this is what I'm going to be using, and I will be using the Gentle Waves tonight. So pop those to one side just for a moment. I will just flash up the card that I did last week on the Sunday. I used these go really well. These are the Memories and More cards from Heart and Home, Memories and More cards and envelopes. Absolutely gorgeous, and the blue and white stripes are just perfect for the nautical theme. So I did use one of those, and as you can see, I've used the panel from the card, but I cut the spine off, so I used half of a card but still use the envelope so it all ties in nicely. No lag. Excellent. Thanks for that, Shaz. So this was my card from last week, from Sunday. I'm still getting used to going live twice a week. So I've got a couple of thoughts for this, but I think I'm going to do this as a long, thin card. So I'm going to grab some cardstock, and I'm going to take a thick white card, and we've got some great envelopes. Stampin' Up have introduced some lovely envelopes that are ready, done, and all singing and dancing for you. So I will just feature some of those. So I'm going to score this UK measurements. I'm going to do this at 9 centimetres. I'm going to score. Move the arm out actually, just so you can see me. I'll move that along a little bit. And then, so I'm scoring it at 9, and then I'm going to cut it at 18. 2 9s, 18. I have to do me maths, look. So I'm going to cut that there. So that will give me a panel left over, and it will give me one card in half, like so. So 9 centimetres, that's 3.5 inches, and then 18 is 7. So if you're inches person, you can do it in imperial as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side just for now. So that's just my base card ready to go and work with. Okay, now with this panel, I'm going to cut this a little bit smaller, but I do want to put some sort of a matte layer behind here, but I like the fact you can always trim them down. So what I'm going to do here is cut this to 0.5 centimetre smaller. I'm going to go to 8.5 centimetres, and then I'm going to take 0.5 centimetre off this way as well. So instead of being 18, I'm going to come 17.5. Oh, this was 21, sorry. So this length was 21, so I'm coming half off there, is 20.5. There we go, nearly. Okay, the joy of being live, you see, things will have hiccup. So there we go, I've just got that nice little 0.5 centimetre border around there all over. Okay, so again, I'm going to pop the base card to one side because I don't really need that one. at the moment. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this on my Stamparatus. So just reach over for that one. Because it's a big stamp, I do like the fact that it's a background stamp, but normally the stamps are this way on. With this particular stamp, it's this way on. You've got the gradient of the waves coming up. So I'm going to just take this off the backing. Okay, this is the sticky side. And we've got as it's going to appear on here. So because we want to do this on a long card, I'm going to turn this round. So I'm actually working upside down. I don't want to have that right into the corner. It's a big bold stamp. So just press on there. And because those of you who've seen me before, I've got this little ice hockey puck that I got off the internet, off Amazon. And this makes it really much easier on my hand. So that's a good tip for you. So we are having the heavier part at the bottom. So I'm going to have, this is the C, so this is going to be the darker piece, and then this is going to be your lighter image here. Now, I really need a piece of scrap paper. I have just got a piece here. I don't want this to go onto my mat, so I am just going to lay that underneath there in case my ink overlaps a little bit. I've got my magnets on there to anchor that down. If I bring that a little bit away from the edge, as long as it's anchored, so it's going to be nice and firm on here, and they're not going to jump together, that will then pick up this one just from the edge there and stamp right into the corner. Okay, so that's that piece. So I'm going to use I was a couple of minutes late just getting connected there because I lost my Misty Moonlight stamp ink pad, and it was underneath the punch, so that's where that one was. So I'm going to just ink this up to give us some waves. Now you'll see as I ink this up, this is its first inking. The reason I've only done it as 1/2 centimetre smaller, it's just to give me an idea of the size, but I'll probably take these edges off this one as well. Okay, I want to make sure it's inked far enough to get all the way over there. So we just test that and make sure that it's going to go the whole width, but we don't need to do the whole stamp. Okay, and then we can turn that over and press on there. This is my very first inking, so you are seeing it raw and in the flesh. There we go. It's got some lines on there where I've gone one way and then the other, but I quite like that. I like that effect. So that's going to be our C at the bottom. Okay, and then as it's going up the beach, if you like, to the actual horizon. So that's one piece. I'm going to leave this piece of scrap paper in there because that will protect my mat from the ink, because I'll clean those later. Okay, so that's that one out of the way. So I'm going to bring another piece of scrap paper on. I should have another piece here, I hope. Yes. I'm going to bring that on because I want to find a blending brush that I'm going to use for my yellows. So I have to just check that one hasn't got any ink on it. That's an old one. Let's see where these are. That's the blue one. The trouble with these is they have rested against each other. Now I'm going to give you a little word of warning. When you have these, if you stand them in a pot and one is resting against another, you will get this effect. So you will get them actually contaminating each other, and red is a strong colour. So you have got a little bit of stain on there, but providing you're using that and there's nothing coming off, then that will be absolutely fine. So what I wanted to do was just create a bit of sunshine in the sky. So I got a range of colours out here as to what I thought might look nice. So I think that might be too bright. I'm going to try it and see what happens with the mango. It might be a bit orangey. I'll do yellow first. Let's try the crushed curry and then a little bit of orange around the edges. So just practice on a little piece here just to get that running. You want to start off your piece of work. You don't want to start on it. I'm just bringing those into view so you can see me. Okay, so I'm just going to go over here. I've just started that off the screen, off the card, sorry, and just work that in. Just to have a little bit of colour in that sky. If I'm doing it over one corner, it's kind of like giving it like a sunny effect. Okay, if I hold that up, you can. I've got a bit of shadow here, but I think if I hold that up, you can see that there's some yellow coming around there. Anybody else is on there, just pop a comment, find where to pop a little comment on there, just so that I know you're with me. I'm taking it a little bit gentle. I'm not really publicising too much, just while I get a bit used to it. And then I'm going to use the Mango Medley Mango Melody into the corner. So that's the darker piece of the sun. Okay, so it's just giving it a bit of a two-tone effect. It's coming on there. So it's kind of like built up and it's coming down to the yellows. So we'll just do those up and pop them out of the way. Now, you'll have Smudge here. She's trying to get in the door again. She is crying at the door, so I'm sorry about that if you've got any sound effects over there. So I'm going to turn this over and get away from the yellows, and we're going to go to the blues now. Got another one there, actually. We'll use that one. So using the Misty Moonlight again, I want to put a little bit of texture in here, so it's not just the open work like this. I want it to have some kind of filling, but a little bit on the gentle side. So just tapping that, and I'm going to work it off here so you don't get one big splodge like that. You don't want to have the big splodge. So you want to kind of work it and then work in. I'm just going to go over this a little bit more. So I'm using the same colour as I did for the stamping, but just taking that edge off and working clockwise and on anti-clockwise, just to give it a little bit of colour so it's actually got the water looking through it. I'll try not to go over the top of the horizon. Can you see how it's just filling the background in a little bit? If you wanted to mask that, you could actually just take a post-it note and just pop that across there so that you won't be inclined to go over the horizon. You work right up to the edge then. Just working that in, building it up. I don't want to go in too dark. Okay, and it's just to give a little bit more. If it was a nice calm sea in the Caribbean or somewhere like that, you'd just hear, yeah, she is beautiful. If it was a lovely calm sea, say somewhere like the Caribbean or somewhere, you would have that beautiful clear blue water, wouldn't you? So that's what I'm kind of aiming at. And it's just giving that little bit more depth to the colour, just so there's no white bits in between. Okay, this is, like I say, this is the first time I've actually used this stamp. It came in the, I think it was in the last order I picked up. And that it's just giving a little bit more. I'm going to cut this bottom piece off. I'm going to trim it down a little bit more so it won't need to go all the way to the bottom. Don't worry about the white piece. Okay, it's just kind of filling that in just a little bit more. There we go. We'll probably need that again in a sec. So that's just kept us a nice straight waterline there. So now I think we'll go on to doing some stamping with our boats. I'll bring the punch back on. And this is the stamp set. So you've got the sails here, you've got the boat, the mast, and then you've got some water. So if you wanted to stamp this one on its own, you could. We'll put some little birds through the sky afterwards once we've placed our boats. But all of these images are stamped. You can stamp these. So I'm just going to take the boat base and the sail and just pop that onto a block. And I'm going to pop, going to use the Sahara Sand because I just like that colour. So I'm going to use the Sahara Sand and the Sahara Card. Just getting a little bit upside down here. If I take that one out of the way, we will need the sails in a second. So keep it straight on the mat. And I'm going to punch this one. So this is like just tone on tone. You can do this onto white card if you prefer, but I just like to give it that little bit of depth around the edges. So as I punch this one out now, in fact, let me just stamp another one at the other end. I mentioned this on Sunday. When you're punching, you need to see the angle that your stamp is going to go to be able to punch through this piece here. So you kind of want that to be a little bit on an angle, like so. There we go, we have a nice clear image. And when that comes in from the side here, it will go at the right angle to punch that out. So clever. It's really designed well. So you will get a couple of sails. If you wanted to, you could actually use those for another card, like I did on Sunday with the solid images. So they do come in handy, so don't destroy those. So there's the base of a boat. Now I'm going to do the sails. Now I will stamp these in colours. So I will get some Whisper White, basic white cardstock. And then put some colour pieces out using some scraps. I put some blocks out somewhere here. There we go. So let's do the biggest one first. That's this one. So this one is going to go, again, look from here and see which way up that's going to punch. That's actually going to punch that way up. Okay, so that's going to be stamped along here like so. And then the other one, the half sail, I call it, the smaller sail, that's going to be stamped that way. So it's going to come in along that side. So we just want to keep that way up. So I think I'm going to do these. Trying to keep the beachy themes, I'm going to use Calypso Coral for one of those. I think I'll do the largest image in that one. This is a very juicy pad. So let's just stamp that one on here. Very, very strong colour. Okay, I'm just going to do that once more in the corner. Let's see how get inked well. There we go. You can see how juicy that is. So I'm going to punch this one up. You haven't gone for this set, but I'm tempting. It's that's exactly the reason I got it, Shaz. It's for the masculine. It's I'm not particularly gone on the one that the one that's in the spring catalogue. It's kind of, it's not really UK sport, is it? So I'm kind of keen to do the this is a masculine cards for this season. Okay, when you're actually doing these, you'll find that your punch won't get near enough to it when you've got multiple pieces like this. So I've just had to trim that down a little bit just to be able to get that sail in there, like so. And then I've got room on here to do one of these. I'm going to do the different colours. Two different sails. So I'm going to do this one in the mango because I think they're nice bright sunny colours. So ink that one up, stamp it off for a bit. This one's got a strange watermark on here. I'm not quite sure what's happened. It might need a re-ink. Beautiful. And there we go. So I'll have one of those. So he's being stamped upright. You see. Now a quick tip here, if I snip this away and turn it round on itself, just leaving a little piece at the top there, you actually give yourself, from that scrap, you actually give yourself a handle to hold, so you can manipulate that round as to where you want it to be. To get it in there, I just need to snip another piece of that excess off. And that handle is allowing me to move that properly into position. I can line that up right in the middle, and there's that one. There we go. So I'm going to do two of that one. That's not big enough for another one. Let's bring another piece of card on, or my post-it note, just a sec. I'm going to bring on a post-it note because I'm going to use this piece of card here and use the post-it as a handle. So I've got two different ways of using a handle. And stamp that fully in there. So one way you can, I use the cardstock, and then that will create the handle. On this one, because we use the post-it note for the border, I'm just using that again now, and I'm going to ferry that one in here just to line it up where I want it to be. Ugh. My stickies come off, I think. Let's do it down this side because it's a little bit stickier. Okay. There we go, and we're in the centre. Again, using the post-it note as a handle, and then squeeze it, and you've got two sails there. Okay, so just clear up my little pieces of rubbish. Yeah, I think it's a good, really good price point, Shaz, as well. So it's a good one for a bundle, like I said. And then if you add on the gentle waves, you'll find that you can get the celebration just from those two items if you haven't got anything else in your cart ready to go. Okay, let's get rid of the rubbish. So I'm going to bring my card back on, and I just want to lay some of these out just to see how I'm going to position these. They can be in the water because they can be positioned in different places. So these are just going to have the sails coming up like so. I can have alternate sails if I want to. Okay, but I do need to do another bit of base. I'd like 3, so I think I'm going to stamp myself 2 more ships. So I'll do one and punch it, and then do a second and punch it, snipping those off. There we go. So we do another one, and remember, slightly at the angle, just to make it easier for positioning, for stamping, for punching. I'll take this one again, and that is at the angle, but it's perfectly placed to punch that nicely. So there's my second one. I'm going to do a third because I think that might be nice to put 3s. All these little bits move to one side. There we go, again at the angle. And in. You have to be careful if you're stamping lots of images. If you want several of the same, if you were to do a line all the way along here, you'd need to make sure that you left enough of a gap for each one not to be clashing, so you're not snipping away the previous image. Okay, so that's that one finished with, and I think we might just need some more sails. We've got 2 pairs of sails there. So shall we do, I think we'll just do one more of the same, just do alternating sails, just to save me cleaning the stamps down. And put this one, and remember I did this one upside down. That's there. And then this one was upright, so I'll do this one in this corner. Really nice colours. I just wanted to keep it kind of like the beachy kind of themed colours to it. Obviously boat sails can be any colour you wish. This one's coming in here. Any of these residue pieces, you know, you can still use for other cards, and you can have white sails on another one, can't you? So I'll keep all of those. And that's my image. Then this one here coming out. You still see me on the camera, yeah, just lining that up nicely and just squeezing it. And there we go. All of that debris out of the way. Couple more white boats there, so they can come in on other cards as well. I'm going to turn this inside out now. This is just copy paper I was just leaning on. So we've got that to position there. And it's just really a case of placing them where you want them to be. I kind of like them on the horizon. We can have them just inside, just to work out where they're going to go. Doesn't really matter where at the moment, because we're just laying them on just to see what I'm going to do with the card. And I'm going to use this one as the base, and I want to put a layer in between. I'm going to trim this bottom piece off anyway, but I just want to see what layer colour would go behind there nicely. So I think because I'm using the Misty, the blue, I think it might look nice with a panel of this one. So I will make a matte layer behind it, and then I'll trim the other one down to what I want it to be. So if that was 9 centimetres, I'm going to take this one down to 8. So I leave ½ centimetre gap. So in the Imperial, you kind of normally leave about 1/4 of an inch, don't you? So this is 21, so I'm taking this down to 20.5. And that will go directly onto there. And then this one, just take those boats off for now. And I'm going to take this piece off here, so that's going to be my extra ½ centimetre. Can you see that? So taking that off, 20 centimetres should be enough to take off that half. And there we go. And where are they? I'm going to take a smidgen more because there's just that little tiny piece of white in the corner. So it's a smidgen over the top. And then this side we're going to take off, not the side with the sun, I'll take it off this side, and we're going to take that down to 7.5. So just another ½ centimetre off there. Oh, 8. Just a ½ centimetre to come off. There we go. Hi Becky, nice to see you. North Carolina, wow. Yeah, Shaz is over here with me. She's in the UK. So this is a new slot for me on a Wednesday night. I'm coming on here live every Wednesday. I'm just going to put that panel behind there to enhance the blue. Okay, so because I've finished inking on here now, I'm going to adhere those two together. If I'd got something lined up, I would have gutted some of the card from the middle here. Whether I'd got some shapes that I was going to use on another project, I would have those. Just wipe the edge of that. I was using it earlier and it was fine. Oh, it's typical, isn't it? Let's try this one. I'll wipe the edge of that. Sometimes the edge just gets gunked up when you've been using it last. There we go. Just a little bead of Tombow all the way around the outside edge there, and then a little bit just down the middle. Put that back in the pot. I think I might have actually left that upright in the pot, but not had the lid on it, so that might have dried up a little bit. Okay, so there's my panel with the sun shining in the corner, and I'm going to put this one down here and then put that onto the thick white layer. There we go. It's nice to have some new visitors on there. So hi, Becky. The other side of the pond. Okay, I said I haven't actually publicised me going live too much. I'm just breaking myself in gently. Okay, so there's, I've got my boats that I've already trimmed. Put those back on here and bring those down. So one can be kind of like just threesomes, there, and there, maybe. And when I did these last week for a different design, I actually used the Tombow, and I just placed a tiny drop. Look for my tweezers. I hold these in my tweezers, and I would literally attach that just at the top and at the bottom. Okay, so just a slight little bit on there. It's easier to do from that way, I think. So tiny dot just at the top there. Just there and there. Just enough to hold it. And then that's going to go on to here like so. Just to overlap and hold those down. I'm actually sticking them together off the... Lost my scrap paper. placing those on there. They've got to have somewhere to latch onto, so they're actually hanging on to the mast. And then I'll do the same here with the other ones and just have them touching over there. Don't you know what I mean by what? Sorry. English accents, look. I'm on the wrong end there. There we go. Oh, sorry, gutting the layers. Yes, I often gut my layers. Sorry, just catching up with the comments there. Absolutely. Any part of the world. Through Stampin' Up, I've got some lovely friends all over the place. I've got several in Australia, several in America, and not so many in Europe, ironically. But yes, this blue layer on here, the blue layer on here, scrapbookers, instead of having a 12-inch page and then putting a layer on it and wasting all of this card underneath here, my Misty Moonlight layer, all you're seeing is the border. So all of this piece in the middle here, you could actually cut some other images out. So say I've got a little pot here that I cut lots of happy birthdays out, and they were a die that I had out at the time, and I just ran a load through when I was cutting some card. These were my matte layers, so I cut several of those out. So you don't waste the card in the middle. So say that was my panel. I could have gone in with some boats and actually cut some boats out if I wanted. The design I did the other day, if you see the beginning of the video, the design I did the other day, I could have cut some more boats out. I just did it in monochrome, and those boats I could have cut out from that middle layer. You wouldn't have known, because all you can see is the little border around there. So that's why we do it. So it's kind of really a scrapbook term, but it works for card making as well. So I've just put that on. Oh, I've put them on the wrong corners. It's going to be this corner. Just wipe that out with some kitchen paper. And pop that one. So it's just touching on the mast, just at that one and that one. Hope you can see me okay. And then I'll put one of these on the other side. It's just a case of remembering which points are going to touch. So one there and one there. I'm going to put some dimensionals on these. They're going to be raised. Just hold those in place. And then the last one. Oh, that was a white one from my blanks. So this one is going to have where the tweezers are coming in from. So it's going to be this side and this side. I'm known for being a bit of a dab hand with my tweezers. I like them just to hold pieces in place with. And sadly, Stampin' Up don't do tweezers, so I have to use what I can get. These are good ones. They're nice with a long handle, because you can line things up on a card without your hands getting in the way, so you can actually see what you're looking at from a distance. Okie doke. So there's my three boats there. I'm just going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals. Whoops. I'm getting a bit low on those ones. I'm trying to use up all my pieces before I use a new packet. But I like these ones because we've got the little piece along the edge here. I do have some more packs, but I want to use these up first. We have a group over here that's been recently set up, and it's demonstrators, Stampin' Up demonstrators against waste. So we're trying to share hints and tips for in ways that we can, in our crafting, we can actually, it's just stuck underneath, sorry. Share ways in which we can save within our crafting, so we're not we're protecting the environment and not wasting or reusing, recycling, repurposing. So we're sharing ideas for that. I'm going to take the backings off those three. It's a bit sticky on there, sorry. I'm going to put this one just into the water. And there, you see I'm pulling the colours through that I used earlier on here. Because this only caught, the sails caught to the mast in a couple of places, the Tombow has actually gone onto the the paper and stuck it down a little bit. It's fine. Just slide that underneath and we can get those off. So there's a big piece in the corner. This paper won't matter, won't be seen. I want a skinnier piece for the hull of the boat. Maybe these little pieces. These little pieces were taken from some of the slithers I had on another project, but these are ideal when you cut in between the gaps, just to remove those, just to attach all the pieces. You don't want it falling off. I like to use enough dimensionals. I'm going to put a little piece in there as well. It's nothing worse than having things fall off your project. So I think I could actually even have those overlapping. Look, they could be at an angle like so. And then the last but not least, they've all stuck. Just where I've attached it to the mast, it's just leaked a little bit of the glue. So I want to put a couple of these along the hull there, and then some more of these pieces in here. So I'll take those, put one there, one there. Oh, and I've still got some full-sized ones. Just peel those off. And then all we're left to do after this is to find a greeting to pop on there. Okay, I'm going to have this one a little bit further down the water here. Like so. Okay, so move that out of the way. I'll need the dimensionals again in a sec. But I would like to put the happy birthday that I showed you earlier. I'd like to put happy birthday on this one. The sentiments in this stamp set here. I used the hope it's your best day ever on the last card. You've got let your dreams set sail, and adventure awaits. But I was looking for a birthday card for this one. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to share with you the Hey Birthday Chick. Lovely set. It's been around for a little while, and we've got in here with the dies, we've got the most beautiful happy birthday die. So I'm going to use that one. And this is something I could have gutted out of a layer we were talking about earlier. But as I've got lots of scraps in here, I'm just going to take a little piece out that would fit. And I've got my little cut and emboss machine here. So I'm going to place that onto the plate and run that through. Just hold that firmly. And there's my piece. Oh, there it is. It's laid on the plate. This is very well worn. You can see my base plate on here. I love this machine and I do use it a lot. But that bottom one is well used, well loved. I'm going to put this in the little dish there and I'll file that away later. So bring my card back and we'll decide where to place the sentiment. So all I'm doing here is just pushing out the middle bits of the letters. Smudges back, bless her. So I've done this in the blue because I do like this colour. I don't like greetings kicking up in the sky very much. I kind of like them down here, but I'm wondering if that's going to be too. Can you see that okay on there, or is that too dark? Are we better off with a different colour, do you think? I'm wondering if I had a piece of the card, one of these card colours, that might look a bit better. I might actually just quickly do a second one. Just let me get another piece of card. The mango and I think I'll use a little piece of the mango, which is the brighter colour here. If that will fit, excuse my hand. Not quite, will it? I do like using my scraps if I can. There's a smaller piece. And I think that it's going to look bright, but I think if I mat them together and stagger them, that'll be just another little technique I can show you. So we'll run a second one through. slide that over. And when you're using this, you need to stagger the plates just slightly so that they, because it's a small machine, it does take it, it's got, I talk about it as being having a small mouth, so they have to have little tiny bite-sized pieces to go through. The bigger machines coat better because they've got a wider surface area. So again with this, I could use my pokey tool, but as I've got my tweezers and my scissors out, I'll just peel that off the back there, poke the letters out. This is a very nice colour. I do like the mango melody. There we go. I think I've just got that one all out. So this one, what I'm thinking is if I stagger those, slightly offset them together, you see that? So you've still got the orange below it. Maybe do it that way on. Can you see that without my hands in the way? So I do it with a little accent behind it. Bring that up. The blue is too dark, yes, but how about that? It just brings through the mango melody behind it. Is that at the front too bright? I think it might be. Kind of like to just dull that down a little bit. What are your ideas? I think it just gives it that little bit of a hint behind there. Now you get what I mean. Bless. So let's just get I have my little silicone mat here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a little puddle of Tombow on here. You're in screen, aren't you? So I'm just going to dab that over there, and I'm going to dab this onto the back of the Misty Moonlight because we're going to put that one on the top. I use a little piece of cheap sponge on the back of the top, what I'm going to put on the top layer. Okay, and I'm just going to pick that up, none in that corner, with my tweezers. Your tweezers will end up getting sticky doing this, but you can always clean the stickiness off there with some isopropanol alcohol. So I'm just going to lay this over the top, but I'm going to slightly stagger them so there's just that little bit of an echo. Okay, just attach that one on there as well. So there's my matte layer. If I do it on the back, no, where can I put it? I think if I just place it on there for you, you can see what I mean about the little bit of a matte layer. And I'm going to put on the back of this, I'm going to put some of the mini dimensionals again. Which ones are these ones? So again, I'm going to take some of the corner edges here, and if I just cut some tiny little strips, then I can use my tweezers and place those on the backs of the letters where there's a bigger area. Okay, so you'll end up with some places where the backing, by snipping it, I've actually cut the whole thing out, so that's why I've got both layers sandwiched. There we go, that's one. The next one's done the same. Pull the backing off. So I like to just make sure they're anchored nicely. So when I put them down, if you take the backings off straight away, then you only have to handle it once. And one up this end, there's a bit of a wider piece there. And maybe one up this end. Okay, so there's 4 on there. And then I'll take all of that away. And the sticky. Bring that back into the camera. And then place the greeting on the bottom there. And I think I like the middle on this one. Okay, so there we go. And I've got to find some gems to go with it as well. So, I think my champagne ones will go nicely on here. I do like champagne. They tend to go with all sorts. They take on the colours quite nicely. So I get those out of there. Those ones are too big, but I like some of these smaller ones. So I think I'm going to just pop into the corner. We've got the sun at the other corner, so we can have 3 gems coming down here. And I use my tweezers, can you just see me on there? I use my tweezers as a bit of a spacer between because they've got a flat bottom to that, I just wiggle them round a little bit and line them up on there. Shaz, you say you use tweezers as well. If you like my tweezers, they've got a drawing pin in there, and you can pierce holes for putting brads and things in, and they don't warp the card because it just supports the card. But I like the fact they've got a hockey stick. They're not Stampin' Up, but if you want to know where I get them from, they're in the UK. They're always on offer. There's always reduced. I will send you the link to them. Jackie's Dazzle Crafts with Janice. Hello Janice, nice to see you. You like the blue on the top. It just gives it that little bit of an echo, doesn't it? The Mango Melody on its own was too bright, the colour of the sails on the right, but it just lifts it and it just gives it a little bit. So there we go. And I think that's about it. I've got my, I was looking for my Wink of Stella. So what I'm just going to do here, I'm going to squeeze some of this onto, I would have done. It's blowing bubbles. I think it's telling me it's running out. I need to order some more. So on the, I've got this on the block here, just a little puddle of my Wink of Stella. Now I use my Tombow to knock it again. So you can use anything, but I wouldn't use your fingers because it does hurt. And you need to have some backing just to cover your surface. Bring that piece of scrap paper back again. If you lay it on a piece of paper, just to flick it to get some little sparkles on there, but just knock it against something. Don't use your hand, and it will give you some lovely little flecks on here, and you can pick up off your puddle. And you just get that little bit more if you do it on a puddle, I found, than if you did it just for squeezing it out from the neck of your Wink of Stella. It's a very nice effect. Just make sure it will, by protecting the area around you, it will splatter wherever. So just give it a little while to dry. Okay, and you can see that if you bring it up to the screen, you should be able to see some little speckles on there. Just some little glints. Not so easy on here, but you can see them at the top there. So there's my card. So then the envelopes, they come in packs of 15. These are the long slim envelopes from Stampin' Up. Okay, I've used all 5 of my white ones in the other set, but they come 5 of the mint, 5 of the grey and 5 of the white. So I needed to have another white one with this card. Okay, so there's my envelope, and like I showed you earlier, they come with the nice decorated flaps. So they're ready to go. And if you wanted to put something on here, you could always stamp your boat. So if I just grab the bits and pieces, I can quickly do one on here. I'll wipe that little puddle off. Okay, so that can come in the corner. Like so. Because they're photopolymer stamps, you can see where you're stamping. So that's good. And then I'll do them exactly the same colours as the inks I've got on the blocks, just so I don't keep you too long. And this one is going to go on this side. It's a very juicy ink pad, really juicy. I'll just wipe that around the sides. Can you see me okay? So this one, because it's photopolymer, I can see where to line that up against the edge of the mast. Okay, and that one's there. And then I'll have the little mast with the crushed curry. This one wasn't so juicy, so I'll give that a good coat. And the sails don't have to be the same height, you can stagger them as well. There you go, that could do with another, doing that edge again. If I'd have done that on the Stamparatus, it's because I'm rushing at the end here. If I'd done it on the Stamparatus, I could guarantee that I'd get that on there. There we go. So there's my card and my envelope. And hopefully you've enjoyed that today. If I'm sure Shaz, you might be following me already, but if you're not following me on the channel, then please just hit the like and subscribe button. I'll bring it back to me. There we go. Hit the like and subscribe button at the bottom, and then you'll be notified when I come online. I'm going live in here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the evening UK time, so that's GMT. and also on Facebook Live on Sunday evenings at 8 o'clock, an hour earlier on Sundays. Okay, so thanks for joining me tonight. If you've got any requests for my future ones on the Sundays or the Wednesdays, then please just drop me a line. Let me know what you'd like to see. It's always good to have projects that people have asked for. I have got rather a nice one for next week. My heading is, what would it be if it wasn't what it was? So that's my theme for next week. So a little puzzle for you for the week ahead. I'm going to be using something in a totally different way. So what would it be if it wasn't what it was? Or what could it be if it wasn't what it was? So it's a phrase that I had a work colleague. We used to have quite a joke about different objects wherever we were, and what else could it be? Just a bit of fun. And so that's my topic for next week. Okay, so take care, stay safe, like and subscribe below, and don't forget to share this if you've got other friends, crafty friends that you think might like to come in and view as well. Okay, thanks for joining me, and lovely to see you again as always, Shaz. And